Hi, Bertie. Nice to meet you again. This is Neil from Dorkaholics, where we believe that there's a dork in everyone, and it's our job to bring that dork out into the world.
Nice. Good to see you again.
Nice to see you again. So it's been about a year since we last caught up, and you just finished wrapping Animals Up Close this past December. What was that year like in 2022, and what things did you learn and challenges that you faced on that production?
Yeah, so it was 6 episodes, and for each episode we did, well, a big expedition basically per shoot. Couple of them we did two shoots for, but across those 6 episodes we spent 219 days in the field, and the most number of days we did for one episode was the Puma episode, Patagonia Pumas, which we did 51 days for. They were all challenging in different ways, but I would say probably the most challenging was in our Elephant Quest episode. We were filming in the Central African Republic, which is a country that makes up part of the Congo Basin rainforest, and we were filming forest elephants. Now, I imagine when you think of elephants, you probably are thinking of savanna elephants. So those are the elephants that live in the big wide open plains. They're the ones in Lion King, they live alongside lions. Well, forest elephants, they live in thick, deep jungle, and they really, really don't like people. And they don't like people because we have really heavily poached them for their ivory. And you know, they're long-lived animals, so they've seen a lot of their family members get killed, sadly. But yeah, it means they don't like people. And also because animals all have a personal space, just like us humans. And if you're in a jungle, it's very claustrophobic. You can't see things coming from far away, so you just tend to bump into each other. And so that, you know, can give both of you a bit of a fright. So because of that, we needed to get off the forest floor. So we lived in the trees. So we built a canopy camp, 120 foot up, a big sapili tree in the jungle. And then I had a filming platform that overlooked a clearing where loads of these elephants would gather. And to get between the two, they were 300 feet apart. We didn't want to go onto the forest floor because we'd put our scent on the floor, the elephants wouldn't like that, and it could be potentially dangerous for us. So we rigged up a 300-foot zip line through the trees, and we just zip-lined back and forth between where we slept and where we filmed. And the reason it was so challenging was because, you know, just existing is really complicated. Like, we slept in the trees, we ate in the trees, we went to the bathroom in the trees. Yeah, that's before you turn the camera on and actually try and film the animals. So that was definitely the hardest.
Wow, that sounds like such a complicated thing. Planning two locations 300 feet apart, and not only that, zip line as the primary.
Yeah, well, you get all the way to the end and then you go, I forgot battery.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, fortunately, one of the best parts about this series is that as well as getting to hang out with cool animals, I get to hang out with cool people. And we had these 2 amazing rope experts, Waldo and Meg. Yeah, they were brilliant at rigging everything up, and yeah, they did do some battery runs and food runs across the zip line for us.
Mm-hmm. I mean, how early on did you know that you were going to have to involve ziplining?
So it was kind of in the planning. You know, when you're a host of a project, your name is in the title. You get way more credit than you deserve. I am a small cog in a very large machine. So there's a big team back home where I live in Bristol at Wildstar Films, the production company. And then when we're in the field, there's, you know, we're working with a big team of ropes riggers if we're in the trees, scientists, guides, and the other person that was critical to that mission was a guy called Banda. And Banda is a Bayaka, which is a group of people that have lived in the forest there for generations. And his knowledge of the jungle and his ability to navigate and keep us safe around the elephants was yeah, amazing. And again, because of the format of the series, it means we can shine a light not just on the animals, but on these really interesting people as well. So he's a key part of the episode.
Yeah, I mean, what else sets Animals Up Close apart from other series that you've been a part of?
So I think a couple key things. One is, rather than it being, you know, all, you know, animals and then a little bit of behind the scenes at the end, like lots of nature documentaries, we intertwine our adventure with the animals' adventure the entire way through. And so there's that, and then on top of that, we also recognise that in 2023, it is no secret the natural world is in big trouble because of us humans. And so with every story, we set this amazing animal behaviour in a bigger environmental context. But rather than just stopping there and going, these animals are in trouble, isn't this really sad, to the end, we also celebrate the wins, because there are wins. You know, the news cycle is so depressing. It is important that we celebrate when we get it right. And I hope that when people come away from the show, they come away just being really pumped about the natural world, but also recognise that there are people already doing amazing things to look after nature. And you'll see in the show, looking after nature is really good for wildlife, but it's also really good for people too.
I agree. And I mean, speaking of the people, you kind of touched on this before, but it's such a collaborative project. Are there any notable people that you really want to highlight that need additional recognition for this?
I mean, in every episode we had such a talented team of different people. Just a couple off the top of my head. One would be in the Antarctica episode, we were filming killer whales. And following killer whales is challenging in Antarctica. We were following a particular type of killer whale called the B1. There's only 100 in existence, known in existence, and they have a very special hunting strategy. So when they find seals resting on pieces of ice, so pieces of frozen ocean, you know, normally a whale or a dolphin, you know, couldn't get access to an animal outside the water, but they've kind of come up with this ingenious strategy where, as a team, they use their bodies to create a wave to wash the seals off of the ice and into the water, where they can then hunt them. And these killer whales, for that reason, are looking for ice. Boats famously don't like ice, as the Titanic showed. And so, you know, we're constantly following these killer whales through lots of ice. So we were working with on a 75-foot ice strengthened sailboat, and our captain's an Australian, Ben Wallace. His knowledge and his team's knowledge of the ice and how to move through it safely was critical. And we did end up getting stuck a few times, because, you know, even Ben gets it wrong. And, you know, the wind and the currents are constantly moving these jigsaw pieces of ice. And we got stuck, and Ben skillfully managed to get us out.
I've been all over the world as a wildlife filmmaker. The best stories are often the hardest to get to. I want to go up there.
That's insane.
Out here, harsh weather and powerful predators are never far away. Let's go. There's got to be easier ways to earn a living. Coming in hot. Ooh, try not to fall in. I think that would be pretty much guaranteed death. This is unreal.
Oh my God.
More warning next time, please, mate. Oh, it's coming really close.